Hey girl, hey. It is March, so you know what that means? It's a reading wrap up. I'm a slow reader, so we're combining 2 months into one so we actually have some form of a video for our January and February reading wrap up. We're gonna pretend like the lighting is completely not different and that it's not hours later and that my SD card didn't fill up and I just had to sit here and delete a whole bunch of footage. 2 books in the month of January, 2 books in the month of February. Hopefully we'll have one in March, but we'll talk about that in a later wrap up. To start the year off, I started the book with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've heard nothing but great things about this book and I've always wanted to read it. I found the premise very interesting. It is about a girl that makes a deal with the devil because she was born in very long ago when women had no rights. I mean, we barely have them, but women had no rights. They were just supposed to be married to a man, and she didn't want to do that. She wanted to live her world, and so she made a deal with the devil so that she could have freedom. The deal goes bad because it's a deal with the devil. No one ever remembers her, so the second that she walks out of a room, their memory of her gets wiped. So she is a woman forever unknown, and there's a lot of beautiful poetry that goes beyond that. There's a lot of her sorrow. It's a long journey. She's lived a long life, and she finally finds somebody that actually remembers her once she leaves the room. It's this beautiful love story. Now, getting to that love story, it's a bit of a hustle. I'm not going to lie. I rated this book a 4 stars at the end of the day just because the message behind it, the writing is beautiful, and the ending really captivated me in a way where I really did not know how this ending was going to be. You're not supposed to go into this book thinking it's a romance. You should really just think about it as like an autobiography of Addie LaRue and her life. I feel as if V. Schwab fell in between the cracks in trying to show the importance of women not having rights back then and the evolution of that and the hardship she had to go through because of it, and showing us all the hardship that Addie had to suffer through all the years. And then also then jumping to the future of the story where she gets to meet the guy that remembers him, and then the love story behind that and the devil's involvement in it, and it felt like it was a lot going on, and it really dragged in like the middle part of the book. Like it really started to pick up once she got recognized, because before that it was just despair, and that's understandable. That's how the book should be, despairing. But it got to a point where it's like, okay, I understand she's going through it, now can we please pick up with the plot? Maybe that's just me. I feel like this book is very polarizing on social media. You either love it or you hate it, and I fell kind of in the middle. Like, I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't absolutely love it. Like, I know people that absolutely adore it, and I can see how you can like it, and the messages behind it are special, but I can also see how people can hate it and barely got through it because you really have to push through. One thing about me, I don't really DNF books, which I don't know if that's a great or bad thing, but I'm gonna rate it. So I got it to the end, so I understood the message. So it was a 4 out of 5 stars for me. After a heavy-ish book, I decided to pick up Assistant to the Villain. I've always heard nothing but good things. I've heard it was a funny light read, and that's exactly what it was. It features my girl Evie Sage prancing around the forest after she got denied employment and trying to find an employer, and she runs into the villain. Yes, they refer to the bad guy as the villain in the book, and it's really funny and really cute, and they really play into that, and I love that. Like, they really don't take any of this fantasy world seriously. The author herself just like make fun of it. She runs into the villain and she gets employment as his assistant. Was the assistant position ever a real thing? I don't know, you gotta read and find out. But the banter that Evie has, I feel like a lot of people could find Evie very annoying just because she's very klutzy, just like very like a bimbo, shall we say, in like in a good way, because I absolutely loved her. Honestly, I would be Evie if I were the assistant to the villain, to be honest. Like, I absolutely love this. I giggled so much. Like, I'm not one to just love romance. I'm more of a plot kind of girl, to be honest, than just like leaning just into the romance. And this had the right amount of plot versus banter versus it just had goofy moments, and like the humor in this book I really liked, and I was kicking, giggling my feet. I was like, why was I blushing? I don't blush often. I was blushing and I loved it. First 5 out of 5 stars of the entire year. I was not expecting this to be a 5 out of 5 stars. Now, the way that I rank my 5 out of 5 stars, like the way that I rank my books, it really just be a vibe. Like, it really just be a vibe. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but as long as I really fully enjoyed it, I'm gonna rate it a 5 out of 5 star. That being said, I enjoyed the first book so much that I walked right into the next one, being Apprentice to the Villain, and you picked up right where you left off. The beginning was amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that for those first few chapters really got you right into the story, and I really loved it. And then it fell off a freaking cliff and blew up. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was me. I don't know if it was the book, but I fell into such a slump where it took me way too long to finish that book for me to like really give it anything, like anything above like 3.5 would have been a lie, because it took me so long to finish it. And I truly, thinking back at it, it was a repetitive book. The only reason I read through it is, like I told you, I don't know how to DNF a book. I don't know how to do it, so I just do it. I pushed through it, but it felt so repetitive, and the only reason that I was slightly engrossed in the whole thing was because I like the characters. The characters are so likable, and I feel like they had even more depth in this book, that I was really reading for the characters, because at this point, the plot felt like a fetch quest. I don't know if you play video games, but if you play video games and it's like supposed to be cozy and it's just a whole bunch of fetch quests and you're kind of just bored of the fetch quest, and at some point, that's what this entire plot felt like, a literal fetch quest of a video game. And the ending was confusing, and it wasn't confusing because I don't have the IQ for it. It was just confusing because there was plot holes, in my opinion. But she redeemed herself on book 3, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, unfortunately, I scored book 2 a 3.5. Honestly, the 0.5 was because I just love the characters, and I actually just like the author, and the way that she writes is good. But the plot, in my opinion, was not it. If you really loved Assistant to the Villain, like I loved Assistant to the Villain, I would read it and keep going with the series, just because book 3 really did redeem for book 2. But if you didn't like Assistant to the Villain that much as I did, then don't even bother picking it up. Just leave it as a 1-book series, and I wouldn't pick up the second one, to be honest with you. That being said, the 4th book that I ended up reading, and the final book for February, was the 3rd and final book. There's gonna be a new one coming out, Adversary to the Villain, but for now, this is the most recent release, which is Accomplice to the Villain. I was still kind of in a slump from Apprentice to the Villain, so I didn't absolutely devour the book. It actually took me a bit. Actually, from a 12-hour readathon that you should probably be watching right now. I had to audiobook most of it, but I read the last half of it, and let me tell you, I ate it up. I ate it up. The 3rd book had a bit of a slow beginning, and then it really started to pick up the pace. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I was loving it, I'm not gonna lie. There was turns and twists that really got me hooked, and it really switched up the plot and actually made the plot grow into something bigger than what book 2 was making it seem like, because book 2 made it seem like such a freaking drag. Like, it was like, okay, like this was a fun concept, but I don't think you needed 3 books out of it. Now at the end of book 3, I really understand why the second one was a drag, and it needed to happen so that book 3 can blow up and be this big thing, so that book 4 would be really great. Accomplice to the Villain, I rated a 4 out of 5. It wasn't as good as Assistant to the Villain, but I almost cried, I giggled, I had a good time, as you can see from the reading vlog. You should go check it out. But not as much as Assistant to the Villain like the first time. Overall, none was a complete flop. Only 1 book was like a kind of drag. And then a sneak peek, my current read for March, my first read for March is gonna be Wild Reverence, which I'm eating this up. I'm eating this up. I loved it. I mean, I love Divine Rival, so I'm eating it up. But you'll see. As a slow reader, that's my January and February wrap up. I wish there was more. We're gonna work on it.